Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever been mid-crunch on one of those twisty snacks and just thought, how in the world do they make these? Well, today we are going on an industrial journey to see exactly how a few simple ingredients get transformed into the iconic KURKURE. All right, let's get into it. So you know this snack. We've all seen it. It's that classic extruded puff, and it's famous for one thing above all else, that totally unique, super satisfying crunch. You can find it pretty much anywhere. And that, right there, is the big question we're tackling today. How do they get that texture so perfect and so crunchy? Well, the answer is this really cool mix of food science and some seriously impressive engineering. To figure this all out, we've got to start at square one. We're going to look at what's actually in this stuff, and you might be surprised at how simple the raw ingredients really are. And here they are. The whole thing starts with a blend of some pretty basic coarse flours. You've got rice meal, cornmeal, and gram meal. Then you add in some vegetable oil, a little salt and sugar, and of course that secret mix of spices and condiments. That's it. These are the humble building blocks for everything to come. So how do you go from a bunch of powders to a puffy snack? Well, the very first step is all about making sure that mix is perfectly blended on a huge industrial scale. This machine right here is a ribbon blender. Its entire job is to mix those dry ingredients until they're totally homogeneous, meaning perfectly even. Then a very precise amount of water is sprayed in to get the moisture level to exactly 14 to 16%. And, this step is absolutely crucial, because if that moisture isn't distributed perfectly, the next stage of the process just won't work. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, look at this. A full production line can stretch out over 70 feet long, and it's all automated. You've got screw conveyors and belts moving that moistened mix from one station to the next, completely untouched by human hands. All right, now we get to the real heart of the operation. This is the magic step. This is where that damp, kind of doughy mix gets transformed into the light, puffy snack that we all recognize. The technology that makes it all happen is called extrusion cooking. Basically, it's a method that uses super high heat and a ton of pressure to cook and shape a starchy mix all at once, which makes it instantly puff up. So it's not just shaping it, it's cooking it at the exact same time. Let's break that down, okay? So inside this machine called an extruder, the mix gets heated up to about 260 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's under so much pressure that the water inside can't boil. Then it's forced through this tiny little opening called a die. The second it comes out, bam! The pressure instantly drops and all that superheated water flashes into steam, puffing the snack up from the inside out. It's like a tiny controlled explosion. And here's the machine that does it. Inside that extruder, the dough gets cooked and gelatinized, which is just a fancy way of saying the starches break down and soak up all the water. As it's squeezed out of the die, these fast-rotating knives slice it up into those familiar random shapes. And the puffing? That happens in the split second right after it's cut. So cool. Okay, so at this point, we have a puffed snack. But here's the twist. It's not actually crunchy yet. It's still pretty soft. The next step is all about engineering that signature, unmistakable crunch. Right after being extruded, those puffed pieces are dropped straight into a continuous frying system. They take a little trip through a bath of hot vegetable oil. This does two really important things. It adds flavor, but more importantly, it drives out almost all the leftover moisture. And that is the secret to the crunch. This slide really says it all. Before frying, the puffs are soft, and they've got about 8 to 10% moisture. But after their swim in the fryer, that moisture content plummets all the way down to just 1.5 to 2%. It's that huge drop in water that turns a soft puff into a super crunchy base, ready for flavor. Of course, nobody wants a greasy snack, right? So immediately after frying, the pieces travel over these vibrating de-oiling belts. This shakes off all the excess surface oil. It's really important for making sure the snacks last a long time on the shelf, and also so your fingers don't get all oily when you eat them. So now we have the perfect, crunchy but totally plain snack. It's got the right shape, it's got the texture, but it's missing the best part, that massive blast of flavor. Let's see how that happens. This beautiful machine is the seasoning tumbler. The hot, crunchy pieces come right in here after de-oiling. And timing is everything. That little bit of oil left on the surface is the perfect glue to make all the seasoning powder stick. And the tumbler's gentle, zigzag design tumbles the snacks around to make sure every single one gets a perfectly even coat without breaking. And this quote from the source material really just nails it. Optimum seasoning spread with minimal loss is the key to consistent taste of the final product. It's not about just dumping flavor on. It is a precise science to make sure every single bag you open tastes exactly the same. And just like that, the snack is complete. The last few steps are all about quality control and packaging, getting it ready for the final leg of its journey to a store near you. Before a single piece goes into a bag, the whole batch passes through a metal detector. This is a super important safety check just to make absolutely sure no foreign objects have accidentally made their way into the product. And finally, this automatic packaging machine does the rest. It weighs out the perfect amount, drops them into the bag, and heat seals it shut, ready to be boxed up and shipped out. And that brings our whole journey full circle, from simple powders to a finished bag ready for the shelf. To put all of this into perspective, a single one of these large-scale production lines can churn out 500 kilograms of finished snacks every single hour. That is a truly insane amount of crunch. So there you have it, the complete industrial journey, from a simple grain to a crunchy snack. It's like a precise dance of chemistry and mechanics. It really makes you wonder, right? What other everyday things have a crazy hidden story? Let us know in the comments what you want to see us explain next.